Let's stretch indeed.
Keep your posture straight. 3, 2, 1, go! Alternate bringing your knees up to touch the ring con. Make sure your back is straight.
I'm excited to do the speedrunning thing. I think it's going to be silly.
All right, good.
I think it's going to be silly.
Next is the heel lift stretch. Bring the insides of your ankles up toward the ring con. Focus on moving the insides of your ankles upward. Last time. All right, good. Next is the back straightening stretch. Take a big step forward and drop your hips. Breathe in as you extend your leg. Breathe out as you pull it back. You should be able to feel your back muscles stretching.
I feel like it's working.
Let's do one more of each. All right, good. Finally, spread your feet. Raise the ring con above your head and lean to the side. Face forward without letting your head drop. Try not to bounce during this stretch. Let's do one more of each. Great job.
Okay. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. All right. Let's make this a bit bigger so it's easier for me to actually read. Yeah, that works. That's easier for me. Okay, so let's think about this a little bit before we go crazy. Think of where my big hits are. Back press 2 is pretty easy on the arms. Speed run, yeah. How's it going, Kanchi? I'm gonna try out speed running World 1. Bonjour. Comment ça va? I'm gonna try speedrunning World 1. I gotta figure out where my big attacks are, where I can get my damage the most, the fastest. I'm playing the New Game Plus category. Squat at 360, I think, is my biggest. Ooh, these two, 275. The knee lift thing is also quite fast. Yeah, so I'm doing like the New Game Plus one, where you can start with your character already established, and it's just about who maximally can get through a world as fast as possible. Knee to chest, level 2 is good. $225. I think those are going to be my 3. You know what I mean? I think this is my... I think this is my rotation. I think that's how we're gonna do this. For now, anyways, I think those are gonna be my best moves. But we'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out what happens as we go through this. Thank you for sending me those sweet, sweet rings. How are you doing today? Back for more, I see. Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, Moon? Thanks for sending me those rings earlier. We're gonna try doing speedrunning some Ring Fit Adventure today. I'm finally at level 30 intensity, so we're gonna see see what the world holds for me, I guess, right? See what I can get done here. Looks like the world record for this is done in doing world 1 in 4 minutes. So we'll see. We're gonna do like a first lap, just sort of like as a warm up to kind of get an idea of what I'm into. And then we'll go from there. Level 3 and no smoothies really stretches the difficulty? Yeah, I bet. You're braver than I am. I'm curious about whether or not the smoothies will actually help the speed run at this sort of juncture. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, I'm curious. Okay, so let's just do one. Let's just mock this up. I'm not actually gonna like race, but we'll just say for the purposes of doing the thing, 3, 2, 1, go. So the first level is the first level. All battles? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even really know the route, right? Sort of as we talked about before. Sort of like we had talked about before, I haven't really worked out what I think will be the best strategy. So I'm just kind of doing a warm up here and sort of scouting the place out. So nothing really of interest quite yet. I guess for the purposes of speedrunning it, you can more or less just like blow through the crates and whatnot, right? Like I don't have to worry about those crates on the side. Don't really have to get interested in that. Like all of this would just be jogging. You see some fish. Cool fish. I wonder how detailed the worlds are outside of this path. Right, like if you could bring the camera back, like what would you see kind of thing? Okay. So there's this thing, some birds to shoot. Oh yeah, apparently one thing that they want you to do for the purposes of speedrunning is showing what your calibration is at.
Stairs are easier to climb if you raise your knees up higher.
To prove that you haven't messed with the calibration settings of your ring, which I guess makes sense. That's pretty scummy, but I don't know how to do it. But that's something we gotta figure out here.
Yay!
Yeah, so I don't think there are any enemies in this first world, right? Yeah, so that's all gonna be fine.
You got it!
Not till 2.
Now turn your exercise into experience points with a victory pose.
You can probably just jump right over them too, right?
Charge your squat power, but don't overextend yourself. Release towards victory!
And then we would go don't check. Yeah, jumping over the enemies and the boulders. So we'd go here. So apparently there's level 3 monsters. Oh, split.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, hitting the high paths. It seems like in level 30 intensity, like that you really gotta move in order to get the speed boost. Do you go faster in air? I guess so. You can kind of like give yourself a break. Right? So I can just pass through that. That's interesting. It's depending upon your speedrunning rules. This you can avoid stairs by jumping. Oh, okay, you can avoid stairs by jumping. Yeah. Just jump right uphill. Okay. And then, so you would do this. Right. Okay, so you gotta jump much earlier than that. So I guess like,
Okay, let's go.
yeah, way earlier. I believe it. So I guess for the purposes of the speed run, you're only ever really going to be using these like the ring stuff
Well done.
when you're fighting the boss, right? Yeah, double jump and hover. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point there, Moon. That's a good point.
Drop your hips. Victory!
And then I guess, where am I gonna split? Don't check split, I think is the thing to do. I can get up speed and hover faster than jogging. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So then we'd be on to Drago here.
Great. Let's go.
So what does he have to offer? So I guess the first thing we're doing is we're going to do a dash to get
Drago, that rascal. When did he find time to build all these stairs?
up the stairs as much as possible. I think that like typically, like when I'm doing it for fitness,
Almost there.
I bring up my knees way more. Than the game needs me to.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then we've got this. Should be one of those.
Drop your
Oh.
hips. Victory!
I guess Drago's not here. I guess I figured Drago would be there. Okay, so if you're doing it in a new, like in this new, like you're doing it in this format, you get to the end and there's no Drago. Which definitely changes things quite a bit. Because ideally you're just, that's just running. You're not actually using, You're not actually using any of your fit abilities. You're just running. All right, let's read the rules for this this section again. Time starts in the first move of the map. Time starts in the completion of the victory pose. Into the chapter. Thank you. You do not start from the save file any level allowed. You have to play every level on the map. You may skip things. It will be skippable first playthrough of the world. You can take the shortest path even if it's not allowed in the first playthrough. Show the intensity level used for the run immediately before or after the run is completed. Runs will show calibration. Celebration. Ring calibration must be at 100. Actions are to be completed as the game intends. No doing actions such as wiggling the left Joy-Con. No using any exploits resulting from the under calibration Joy-Cons. Body camera showing each exercise. Okay. Cool.
Hold the ring-con in both hands while facing forward.
This isn't 100% exactly
Press in
what
hard on the ring-con.
I was thinking this category would be like. But we'll put it in a good ring. We'll
Face
put it in a good
forward,
run.
holding
Just
the
be
ring-con in both hands. Pull outward hard on the ring-con.
just to be a good sport.
Okay.
I got the thing set up, so we might as well try it. Okay. So that's the showing calibration portion of the thing. Let's reset my splits. And let's try a run of this here video game. Let's just see what happens. Alright, everybody ready? 3, 2. It's this button? Right. 3, 2, 1, go. Buttons. I've already taken the screenshot. That's great. It's traditional. Okay.
Okay, time to run.
So this is basically just going to be a sprint. Oh, come on.
You did it.
Ah, no. Okay.
Drop your hips. Victory!
Don't check. Nice.
All right, let's move. Keep it up. Yay!
No. Is there a max level? All right. Whew. Okay. So that's the second place time right there. Give me a second. Okay, so that's a lot of work. That's a real go for it. So what I'm curious about is if adjusting my body weight in game will change the way that my character performs. Because I know for sure that I weigh less than 200 pounds. I don't know how much I weigh, but I know it's less than that. And from our experiment when we made the characters weight 420 pounds and what that was like, I'm curious to see if I tool it down to like 180, which is probably realistically closer to where I actually am, if I'll notice any difference. It's only like a 10% change in weight in terms of game. So maybe just out of curiosity, we should set it to like 100. Just to see how that affects things. I'm curious. Weight is optional? Oh, okay, so am I just making it up, right? Oh, it's just for calories burned? Okay. So it'll just give me a better estimation on how much work I'm actually doing, I guess. Okay, that's cool. So even so, that'll give me a more honest answer. Okay, well, yeah, let's just try. I know it says that it's only for calories, but in the name of science, let's adjust my weight down to 100 pounds to see what happens. Maybe the game is a big liar. That would not be unlike Nintendo. It'd just be a big liar. So let's see what happens if I say that I only weigh 21 pounds.
All right, let's go.
I would say that this is different. This definitely seems easier to me. Right? What do you guys think? Does that sound accurate? Does that seem accurate? That I'm working less hard to get my character to go forward? I think that's way easier. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure with getting the ring cons to work into tech and to work with a bunch of different body types and whatnot. There's a lot of impreciseness. I did have that boost earlier, but I felt like I had to work harder to get it. Maybe I'm wrong. I think hovering is slower than running. I am warmer, it's true. It's true.
You did it!
Okay.
Drop your hips.
That's funny. Rev up those fryers. In this case, am I the fryer? How's it going, Hydra? So we're just labbing some strats. We were curious about what would happen if I told Ring Fit I only weighed 21 pounds. And it doesn't seem to have an impact on the game, I don't think. So we'll adjust it back to where it should be. I actually don't know how much I weigh, but I'm guessing it's around 180 pounds. King Fryer. Fryer Tut. Okay. Let's do another one of these. I don't know how many runs I can do this in one sitting. Diet percent. Alright. Time to calibrate the thing. So one of the peculiarities of this Hydrus is you have to calibrate the ring con.
Hold the ring con in both hands
on camera.
Forward. Press in hard on the ring con. Okay.
So that the mods know you're not
Face
just
forward, holding the ring con in both hands.
holding something that's
Pull
pretending
out
to be a
hard
ring
on the
con.
Okay.
It has to be real. Good job. I guess I have to show the intensity level too, right? I'm pretty sure that's on the same page though. Yeah, there you go. Difficulty level 30. So everybody can see it. Alright, we're gonna do another run. That is some real dedication from mods. Good speedrun mods. Yeah, I mean the people who set up the rules for this game seem to know what they're doing. Alright, everybody ready? We're gonna do another one. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Okay, time to run.
Time to run indeed. What a thing to say at a time like this. Oh, I forgot to jump.
You got it.
Oh no.
Drop your hips.
Oh no.
Strong victory.
Lessons learned. Precious seconds lost. Precious calories. Okay.
Okay, time to rest. You did it. Outstanding. You got it. Drop your hips. Strong
Okay.
victory.
Whew. Yeah, I'm doing good. No level ups.
All right, let's move.
Oops.
Rat. When did he find time to build all these stairs? Just a little more. Doing great. Drop your hips. Victory!
Okay. Another improvement. Okay. So at 125. All right. So that was only like 6 seconds off of the last time. So that's good. So I'm like 19 seconds away from first place. I don't know what the basis for that is, like where the difference in timing is. Well, let's take a look. Oh, the guy in this video isn't even running. He's just jumping up and down. Well, the calibration it could be. The guy in the video who with the first place time isn't even running though. How's that an intended strat? I cry foul on that. We'll take a look though. I'll ponder aloud to the mods whether or not you need to actually run in order to do the intended strats. You got to find something that you're motivated for. And if it turns out that you cannot run in order to play the game and speedrun this, I would like to create a category called actually exercising. Because I don't want to just do this. You know what I mean? Actual exercising. All right. Yeah, totally. So here's my question to the mods. If you're playing the intended strats category, do you actually have to run? Or can you do things other than running when the game wants you to run? Don't know. Role-playing mode? All I'm saying is that for the purposes of speedrunning this, I don't really want to do it if this is what gets you a world record. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys get where I'm coming from? Can you tell where my interests lie? One of the things I wanted to show you guys is I took a look at this earlier. I know people have been requesting a second camera, and I did hook one up. You can see here that I've got the little window there. It's deactivated right now because it turned out that there was a huge amount of latency, and so like the cameras were out of sync. And rather than going through all this trouble of trying to work out the sync issues between the cameras, because I'm using a GoPro into a capture card, and the capture card is like slowly introducing more latency over the term of when I had it on. So I'll have to go back to the drawing board with that. But as far as I can tell, I now have the world record in the actual exercise category, or actually running. I don't know. Maybe the fine folks here in the chat can advise me on the right way to approach this. Because like the guy who has a run that's currently in first place didn't run, right? He didn't actually run. He just sort of bunny hopped through it. And to me, that's just sort of not the spirit of what I would like to do. I would say he cheesed it. I would agree. Who knows what the mods will say? But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, to me that doesn't feel like they're the intended strats. And I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is the right word of saying this? Yeah, bunny hopping is faster because it's like 1/20th the amount of exercise. I can just do this, right? And not break a sweat. I can do it on 1 foot. We can do the whole speed run like this, right? As opposed to having to do this for 5 minutes, right? Yeah, totally. But if we're talking intended strats, right? The game clearly intends you to run. The game doesn't intend you to bunny hop. And I don't know, to me there's already a game mode for the speedrun where you don't actually exercise. What I don't want is to come across as being prejudiced against this guy. Running speeds are kind of subjective, unless the game caps it. Yes. Yeah, there's like a minimum threshold you have to cross over. But the game does say run, right? They say this is a distinct issue. Yeah, I mean, it feels to me like there's two obvious categories, right? There's the category where anything goes. You can use whatever strategy you want to just trick the game into thinking you're doing whatever activity. And then there's the one where you do the activity as suggested, right? If the game says run, and instead of running you do this, I would say that's not intended. I would say that's a cheat. So I guess like whatever the names of the categories are, I feel like the run I did is in a different category than what the guy did with the bunny hopping. I think that's the way of putting it. Is this, he can do that. I'm okay with him doing that. And I don't think I have a problem with him doing that. But I think that our two runs aren't in the same category. I think that's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? I think that's a fair way of putting it. Because I don't want to come across as being judgmental of this guy or saying that he's doing it wrong or whatnot. But I don't think that our runs are the same type of run. Yeah, I think that's right. That feels right. I don't know. I've never used silent mode, so I don't know what it's like. But he's just doing this. He's just doing bunny hop. Try silent mode? Sure, I can try silent mode. Why not? What is silent mode? So I wrote in the Discord for Rings Fit Adventure Speedrunning. If you're playing the intended strats category, do you actually have to run? Or can you do things other than running when the game wants you to run? Okay. How do I turn on silent mode?
Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Lightly jog in place, staying aware of your surroundings. Okay. Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Quickly jog in place. Okay.
All right. To me, that feels legit. Okay. Anywho, where's silent mode? How do you turn on silent mode? Oh, here we are. Here we go.
Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Lightly bend your knees up and down.
Oh yeah, this is what this guy's doing. I don't think he's even jumping now that I think about it. He's probably just doing that.
Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Quickly bend your knees up and down. Okay.
Right. I understand now. Or cheat on calibration. Yeah, for sure. One of the two. So what should I say? I should say, also I just tried silent mode for the first time. And having switched from it doesn't say anything in the filters about the silent mode. So try to see if it affects your time by how much. So part of it is like, I will do that just for the curiosity of it. But for me, part of it is like, I don't really want to do that. That's not why I'm here. If that makes sense. So I'll do it once just for the curiosity and to indulge you. But yeah, there actually is a rule, Kanchi, that says that you have to show ring calibration in the video. That is there. Also, I just tried silent mode for the first time, and having switched from running to bouncing, I certainly feel like these are two different categories. I'm not really interested in also, I just tried silent mode for the first time. And having switched from running to bouncing, I certainly feel like these are two different categories. I'm not sure if any TFC. It's not your goal, I understand that. But your numbers will be proof of advantage or not. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a test. Alright, I'm going to try a bouncing run. So we're not going to worry about doing the calibration thing. We're just going to do a test run and see what's up. Update the splits. Everybody get ready for not really exercising mode. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I didn't hit the thing. Rabbit mode activated. Boing, 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 boing. How do you quit a level?
Let's go.
Back to the map. Okay. Let's try it for real. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1. Sample run of the bouncing mode.
Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Right, like... Here, I'm just gonna talk to the people on the Discord while bouncing. We'll do a redo here. I'm being a little too sarcastic. Let's do a reset here. Quality content. All right, everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So this is argue with mods %. 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, let's go.
Let's argue with the mods. You know what I mean? Like,
You got it. That's it.
this is silly. Okay, we did it.
Drop your hips. Strap. Victory!
Okay. Yeah, there's no argument about this. See what I mean? Like, that's not... We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't care what the mods say. Totally, absolutely. For people who live in crowded buildings, and it's great that it's in there, without a doubt, without a doubt. And I don't mind. And I don't mind people doing this, like playing this category. I have nothing against that. It's just not what I'm here for. It's just not what I'm here for. Anyways, we're arguing with the mods later. Okay, well, I'm sure that the mods here are not easy style mode, time advantage, not definitive. Well, we can do the time advantage. We can try doing. Let's try doing like a level where I'm not memeing out the mods to see what's different. But I think these are different gameplay modes. Well, let's try it. Just do it sincerely once. just to see. All right, everybody, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, I think they gotta be different categories.
All right, let's move.
So how's everybody doing? It's like I have extra energy that I'm not using speedrunning the game. Try to beat the 359. Hello there, JX Wing. I don't know what the records are. I'm just talking with the viewers and with the mods about how I think this is a different category than actually running. Like, this is not the same. It's just not the same.
Victory!
Closest to the mods you can get at the moment. That's fair. Yeah, that's good. So this is my first time. This is my first time speedrunning this, but immediately it's fairly obvious to me that the two are different game modes. It's just like it's not the same game. Bouncing slightly and running, and I don't have anything against anybody who would rather play silent mode, and I can definitely understand. From a certain perspective, from a certain mentality, that it's just like, you know, beat the game as fast as you can. It doesn't matter how you do it. But the experience of play is so different between silent mode and regular mode that I don't think people who are playing in those two different categories are competing over the same thing. That's just me personally. It's just like you sprint for 5 minutes or you bounce slightly for 5 minutes. There's no comparison. The even if they're not categories, I think you should at least be able to filter for that type of information. If people, for whatever reason, insist that, like, the difference comes with intensity in full games. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. But even there, the gap would grow even wider. Right? Like, so like from my perspective, like going full out and doing 2 runs of World 1 is probably all I could do in one day. You're at the moment run level leaderboard runs? You at the moment run level leaderboard runs? I make like 7 runs in one day. Yeah, so like I could do the hopping thing for an infinite amount of time, right? Like I could just do it. There's no cap there, right? All right. Well, anyways, I think my point is clear. I think they're not at all the same, and I think that you could compare the shower that I'm going to have after playing the running mode with the hopping mode. But yeah, it's not even about like what I think is faster. Like it would be faster to play with unintended strats, right? It would be faster to just take the Joy-Con and do this, right? It's it's not about what's fastest. It's about what the gameplay is. They're just not the same game at all. That's all. It would not be faster if not intended in World 1. I just mean broadly. I think doing this for 5 minutes is different than doing this for 5 minutes. That's what I'm saying. Because I think those are two different games. You know what I mean? Like, say for example, yeah. I don't need to draw an analogy. Like, they're just different. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But it's more than that. There's like the physical component, right? Anyhow, I'm 100% sure, completely confident that there's a difference between jogging and bending your knees. Yeah, that's not relevant though. That's not relevant to what I'm saying. It's not that doesn't interact with the claim I'm making. Yeah, that doesn't rebut what I'm talking about at all. It doesn't matter. That's not relevant. I'm not talking about whether it's faster to do one or the other. It's not. That doesn't enter in.
Okay, let's select the skill.
It doesn't enter into what I'm saying at all. It's a competition. It's and this is all speedrunning is stacking people up according to their ability. That's all you do when you speedrun.
Tricep kick.
That's also not relevant because it's still not the same activity.
Okay, let's move.
That doesn't.
Like you're carrying.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Yes! Yes! Sharp! Fine work! Perfect! Okay! Very nice! Nicely done! Okay! Nice! Wonderful!
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's like, let's say you had a race between a drag race, like a race car,
Awesome!
and somebody in their Honda sedan, and you gave a race car driver the sedan, and you gave somebody who didn't know how to drive
Good job!
the race car. The person in the sedan would still win.
Okay!
And it's not because it's more fair or there's a handicap or there's some sort of equalizer or whatever. They're just two different vehicles. They don't belong in the same race.
Excellent! Great! Let's pick up the pace!
It's like racing a helicopter against a speedboat.
All right! 5! Keep it up!
It's not a race.
3! You got it! 1 left! Okay, let's switch sides. Okay, let's move. Place your feet
No, it's not relevant. It's not relevant.
up. Good job!
They're two different modes.
Fine work!
It's like the difference between co-op and single player.
Okay!
They're just two different ways of playing the game. That's all I'm talking about.
Great! Okay! Well done! Sharp! All right! Excellent! Fantastic!
Anyways, with all that stuff out of the way.
Great!
Moon, how's your day been? How are you, Kanchi? How you been?
Yes! Yes! Keep it up! Excellent! Awesome!
A boat?
Yes!
I haven't been counting, but I would have to have been counting my entire life.
Good! Let's keep going!
It'd be a weird thing to keep track of.
Fine work! Okay! 5! Come on! Neat! 3! Yes! Yes! Fantastic! Nice! Excellent!
Ugh. So I think in order to get the second camera working, I need to get, essentially, I'll need to get the same type of device. OBS is bad at doing like the syncing of different feeds. It just sort of takes them all in because it doesn't allow for time coding on input sources. So in order to get the thing to work, what I'm going to have to do is get a second version of the exact same camera.
Uno! Dos! Uno! Dos! Uno! Dos!
Or do some heavy research on
Uno! Dos! Uno! Dos! Uno! Dos!
how to get the sync to work,
Target your ass! Dos! Uno! Dos!
how to get the sync working
Uno! Dos! Uno! Halfway there! Dos!
in order to use the GoPro that I already have.
Uno! Dos! Uno! 20 more! Dos! Uno! Dos! Uno! Dos! Uno! Dos! Uno! 10 more! Dos! Uno! Dos! 5! Uno! Dos! Uno! You made it! You've got this!
Yeah, what are you talking about, Kanchi?
Squat. Okay, let's go. Try it with your glutes. Rock it back. Okay. Wonderful.
Oh, sorry. I really overdid that.
Fantastic. Amazing. Great. Perfect. All right.
Don't overextend. That was for sure an overextension.
Neat. Great. Wonderful. Well done. Nice. Good job. Very nice. Nicely done. Okay. Excellent. Fine work. Excellent. Nice. Amazing. Neat. Sharp. Okay. Awesome.
No, I'm not. Here, I'll show you from the side. Here's what I do.
Go drink some water.
This is what my squat looks like. As if my legs are wide. I feel like that's a pretty good squat. What do you think? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess my arms are just dropping. Maybe that's just a balance thing. Because it's easier to balance when you move your hands lower. Or saggy. All right. I'll try to keep my arms straight. Man, I'm bummed out about this. I'm bummed out about this whole thing with the I have long arms, do I? I'm kind of bummed out about this whole not having to exercise to do the speedrun thing. Like having putting the bouncing and like the silent mode and I guess the words I should use. I should use default mode and silent mode in the same category. I don't know if I seem reasonable at all, but I think that's a bummer. I think it's a real bummer. I think I'm just going to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like do my thing, upload my runs, and then just put in the title like as part of it, like default mode. Part of it for me is like almost like a prestige thing. I feel like in order to really give it and get like great times in this, a big part of this is like the physical component. And I don't want to be prejudiced against anybody who has mobility issues or who lives in a situation where they can't run a lot, or people who have an injury that they need to work around or whatever. That's 100% completely fine. Just to me, they're, in the same way that like, say like the skeleton and the luge are not the same event in the Olympics, right? You're both going down ice on a sled through a tunnel, right? And one isn't necessarily faster than the other. It's just not the point. It's just not what I'm here for. And I think it's fair to say that I'm not competing in the same challenge as somebody who's doing silent mode. Yeah, totally. Anyways, I know that it's like too much to ask, like the moderators, for a game like this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna say like I'm doing default mode only, and here are my settings, and you guys can figure out what you want to call my runs, but I'm doing them for me and not for your leaderboard. I don't think I beat this, so let's do it. Let's do it. Because like, as far as I can tell, I have the world record in that category now.
Leg scissors.
Yeah, I would say so. Kanshi's got it. Kanshi's got it. Come on.
Cross your legs smoothly. Uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos.
Well, thank you for your support, everybody. That's what matters the most to me anyways.
Maximum effect.
Is you guys.
Uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. Halfway there. Uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. 20 more. Dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos.
Place for the story, I love it.
10 more. Dos, uno, dos, uno. 5. Dos, uno, dos. You made it! Stand up. No need to rush, though.
Playing for the story. I read it for the articles.
Keep squeezing.
Pokemon has bigger plot twists in these games. Here's the twist. You throw at your back in the end of the second act.
Select the skill.
Is the easiest mode still kind of tough on him?
Squat. Okay, let's go. Try it with your glutes thrust back. Me? Amazing!
I did it again.
Okay!
Sorry, arms up, arms up.
Okay. Nice. Sharp.
That's cool.
Excellent. Awesome. Very nice. Yes. Yes.
It's nice that it's easy to make those adjustments.
Great. Well done. Your legs bend slightly. Squeeze. You've got this.
All right,
Careful.
chair pose time. Ooh.
Bend slowly.
I find that like
Starting.
as I continue
Sure not to bend your lower back.
doing the chair pose, eventually like my hips sink in and like the pose gets better as I go rather than worse. Okay.
Knee lift. Move super energetically. Right, left, 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 right. Be sure to extend your back. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Halfway there. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 20 more. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
Alrighty. Okay. Okay.
Back
Let's
press.
do these.
Okay, let's move. While breathing in, relax the ring. Fine work.
So if I remember correctly,
Fantastic.
both of you guys sat today out.
Good job.
How's your shoulder doing, Kanchi? Are you feeling any better?
Well done. Nice. All right. Neat. Great.
I upped the intensity to level 30 today.
Great. Wonderful.
So we're not playing on the maximum.
Guard.
It's better. You played today? Cool. Glad to hear that.
You should feel it in your stomach when you breathe.
Taking a rest is all it needs.
Select a skill and good luck.
Don't know if I can do the leg scissors right now. Let's try the boat pose.
Pose.
Got it.
Bend slowly. Slowly return to the starting position. Spread your feet to about the width of your hips.
Those are hard. Tired and grumpy. You look like me. You look like me. Let's do one squat.
Okay, let's move. Your knees behind your toes. Okay.
I did overextend that time. Okay. There's a bunch of these guys right now.
Tricep kick. Okay, let's move. Hold your grip as firmly as you can. Fantastic! Nicely done! Very nice! Amazing! Good job! Excellent! Okay! Fine work! Perfect! Well done! Fine work! Fantastic! All right! Neat! Nicely done! Nice! Awesome! Yes! Yes! Excellent! Fantastic! Perfect! Good job!
Yeah, okay, I can tell the intensity's gone up.
Very nice!
I'm starting to feel it now. I guess we started with
Nice! Challenge
Super Easy
yourself.
World 1, right?
Okay!
Which was just jogging.
Okay! 5. All right! Nice! 3. Keep it up! Fine work! One left! Okay, let's switch sides. Okay, let's move. Hold your elbows up. Yes! Yes! Amazing! Neat! Fantastic! Excellent!
What about you, Moon? Did you play today?
Great!
One of your 50 accounts?
Well done!
Your World 3 with no smoothies run?
Fine work!
I find it interesting that
Okay!
you're choosing to
Great!
create so many different accounts on a game like this, where it would never occur to me
Great!
to ever create an alternate,
All right!
unless it was for something like speedrunning.
Fantastic! Amazing! Neat! Awesome! Nice!
To me, this is like the ultimate like work on your stats game. I guess if the stats don't matter to you, right? Whatever.
Excellent!
That's not why you're doing it.
Oh,
Maybe it's vanity, but I like to watch the numbers grow.
nice!
I like to keep track of
You got it!
how far I've come.
Okay! 5. Great! Yes! Yes! 3. Excellent! 1 left! Excellent! Amgard!
To me, that's a big part of this. Is being like, wow, I've done 2,000 squats. That's crazy.
Lucky break! Don't push it. Take a break if you need to.
All right. Let's get some yellow drink going on here. Some apple cider vinegar.
Flag scissors.
Okay. These things.
fixed firmly. Uno, dos,
How many are there now? Is there like, do I do 58 of them?
dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. This will target your ass. Uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. Halfway there. Uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. 20 more. Dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. 10 more. Dos, uno, dos, uno. 5. Take that. And gone.
Oof, those are adding up.
Keep squeezing. A tough one, but you can
Okay.
do it.
Thanks for helping keep my spirits up, everybody. I really appreciate that.
Chair pose.
It's good to have you fine folks on my side.
Bend slowly.
Understandably, I can get passionate about things.
Starting position. Focus on your core.
And we motivate each other.
That
Goes both
was
ways.
amazing.
Yeah, I get passionate about things, and it's frustrating to, like on day one of a new enterprise, to be confronted with some silliness. Pendulum level 2, I'm into it. Yeah, let's put this in here. It's kind of too bad. I used to speedrun Splatoon, and the Splatoon community had pretty much the exact same problem, where for ages and ages and ages and ages and ages, all of the Splatoon 2 speedrunners who were still playing the game wanted a new category created for New Game Plus. So they wanted it New Game Plus and New Game Plus Octaviolus. And the reason why was because the boss of the game, the final level in New Game Plus, was just complete RNG, complete random. The game just spat out a random number in terms of what your time on the last level was going to be. And it wasn't even like just like a little different. Like the difference could be up to 5 minutes. So like you would get to the end of the run, and depending upon how the game felt, your run could just be toast, regardless of how good you did. And the mods just wouldn't listen that we wanted 2 different categories. We weren't even saying like get rid of New Game Plus, you should change New Game Plus. Like we just want you to create another heading that says Octaviolus, so we can run the category that we want. Well, we can post our times for the category that we're actually running, as opposed to this other category that people aren't interested in because it's nonsense. And it took like 6 months to do, endless arguing, in order for the mods to just create a new table on the spreadsheet, essentially, right? It was really frustrating because it was like a real downer for the Splatoon speedrunning community, because there's a lot of people who were spending their time arguing about something that did not matter and getting on each other's nerves and picking on each other and forming up into tribes and all this stuff, instead of just saying, yeah, whatever, here's a category, Octaviolus, go have fun. Me, the toned man, another oddball, and Yeah, so when I first looked at the rules for the speedrunning community for like the speedrun.com speedrunning community for Ring Fit Adventure, originally I was enthusiastic because of how well delineated the different rules looked. The boards look kind of like a mess right now, but it makes sense. The game's pretty new, and people are still figuring out what matters to them, what they think the cool categories are going to be. So that's fine. But I was not expecting to bump into this kind of stuff just like on day one. Just kind of too bad. But as you guys rightly point out, I'm not doing it to impress speedrun.com moderators, right? I'm doing it for myself. Spend some skill points. I want this upgraded front press real bad. We're getting there. Only 2 more gemeralds and we can get our upgraded front press. Okay. I guess that's how it goes. Like, usually the moderators you get for something aren't there because they're the best people, right? Because they have the most experience and they know what they're doing and are good mediators and are good listeners or whatever, right? Usually, oh, I understand. I get it now. But you just get the people you have, right? The moderators just are people who played the game. They're just like some guy, right? They're volunteers who are just doing their best, and usually more than wanting to do a really good job. They tend to be motivated more just by what creates the least amount of hassle.
That was a great run.
Yeah, getting no double jump
Your hips.
locations can help, I'm sure.
Victory!
Yeah, figuring out the locations for them,
Like
figuring out the
with
timing,
IR motion camera.
like when the
Add
best
right
place
thumb, as shown.
to do them is, will be big. Because you definitely lose momentum
Please do not move your thumb.
in air, right? But anytime, probably. I'm not exactly sure, but my guess is that like anytime you can jump uphill, you're probably better off. So which one did it say that the battery was low on? Do we remember? Toned band. Third friend after all. The Valley of Wishes. Anyways, so after my experience with the Splatoon 2 speedrunning community, I found that, yes I do have a second set of Joy-Cons. With my time with the Splatoon 2 speedrunning community, it was mostly, I discovered that the people who were like moderators, were usually people who were just around the longest. Or we're doing it more for the status and the social positioning rather than like for an actual love of like good administration. They weren't there to like actually be good moderators. They were there because being a moderator held prestige, and as a result, they would make decisions that increased their prestige and not made decisions that helped the speedrun community go. which is probably this similar situation with every speedrunning community, honestly. It's probably just kind of how it goes. The same types of people get attracted to the same types of jobs, right? Oh, my controllers are being updated? That's funny. I guess I haven't used these for a while. That's really funny. Anyways, it's the same thing as it goes. Like, I found that like the hierarchy of speedrunning communities usually reflects like the hierarchies that I've seen in like most business communities. And my guess is that it's probably that way because you know, it's a grassroots thing. Speedrun.com is mostly an American phenomenon, and the structure of it is going to follow like the culture of the people who put it together. So if people are most familiar with like a business hierarchy and like that way of delineating power, that's the way that they're going to set up their own communities and the way that they're going to organize decision-making power. So probably, realistically speaking, probably it doesn't matter how persistent I am about this, and it probably also doesn't matter how right I am. It probably won't change. It's my guess. So I think I had to just settle in early with the idea that so long as I'm not the boss won't listen to me, even though it's just like a volunteer for fun internet thing and not like actually hierarchical business structure. Okay, I'm gonna fill my water. Okay. So that being said, let's just focus on matters. What matters is keeping the positivity up, keeping the exercise going, and having fun. That's what we're here for. All right, let's do some arm stuff. Well, I'm out of sitting time. Thanks for spectating. Enjoy the rest of your workout. Thank you so much, Moon. Thanks for coming by. Hey, Greg, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. There's news, Greg. I was doing some speedrunning earlier. We've already run afoul of the moderators on day one. Yeah, we were doing some speedrunning. I got a time on a thing. There's my time. And my different layout. I also tried rigging up a second camera today. You can see my wonderful GoPro rig with a clamp from a gimbal with a iPhone charger brick as a spacer in order to mount it to my tripod. But for a capture card, I just have this dinky old Elgato thing. And the latency on it is just super wacky, and so it didn't work. It didn't work because it was just rapidly going out of sync with the other camera, and it was no good. So I'm gonna have to find another solution. But I tried. I did try. Yeah, I won't harp about it because I just had a good coming to terms with things, speech that I delivered just before you got here. But the gist of it is that the way that the categories are organized in the like speedrun.com community for the GoPro does use video signals. It's true. So I would need I need an HDMI in, right? And so I'm going, so I need a capture device, right? So, I know that you can futz with settings in OBS in order to get the desync worked out, but I don't want to. I don't want to have to worry about that. So I think another webcam is going to be the way to do it. Because I don't think, given my current setup, that I can / have the willingness to sync with the GoPro directly. Anyways, so the story about the speedrunning.com people is that the way that they have the categories organized is that the default
Let's go.
style where you actually run is in the exact same game category as the silent mode where you just do this. So because the way that they have the categories set up in what I want to run, I have to
You got it.
compete with people who are bouncing on the spot, and I'm not about that. That does not interest me. So yeah, I was, oh, look at this guy.
Skill.
I was lamenting earlier some of my yeah, it's not, I wouldn't even say it's unfair. To me, they're just different categories, if that makes sense. The best thing that I can think of is like skeleton and luge. They're very similar. Both people are going down on the exact same course on a sled, but they're different events because the way that you do them is different. There isn't a thing where you just go like, well,
Okay, let's go.
whoever can get to the bottom of this tunnel first wins, regardless of how they get there.
Nice.
They're different events, right? I think it's the best example I can think of.
Amazing.
Anyways, so I have no interest in
Excellent.
participating in the bouncing on the spot
Fine work.
version of this game.
Excellent. Very nice. Great.
And I don't feel like I'm competing against those people. Not that there's anything wrong with playing the game that way. It's just that's not what I'm here for. So that's what we learned today.
Nice.
So anyways, for World 1,
Fantastic.
level 30 intensity,
Good job.
I have the world record
Perfect.
if I'm not competing with people who are able to bounce slightly on the spot as a way of
Amazing.
running.
Well done. Awesome. Okay.
What I would really like to see is just like a separate category, or even a filter for the same category, where you can
Okay.
sort people's runs according to whether or not they're default mode or silent mode.
Great.
But apparently the mods think that's not a good idea. So I am on board now with
Increase your pace. Fine
kind of not paying attention
work. Nice.
to that speedrunning community,
Fantastic.
because that is very silly.
Okay. Very nice.
And I'm not really interested
Okay.
in getting involved.
You got it.
Oh, speedrunning mods. Indeed. Indeed. I was telling a story earlier about the Splatoon speedrunning mods who we needed to argue with for 3 months or 6 months in order to get them to create a version of New Game Plus that didn't have the final boss in it. And the reason why we wanted a version of New Game Plus without the final boss in it is because the final boss was just like completely random math in terms of what your time was, with like a range of about 5 minutes that you had no control over. So depending upon what the final boss thought, you just lose, right? And at that point, nobody was running the New Game Plus category anymore. People were just running the category without the boss, and the mod still refused to create one for it. So here we are.
Okay, let's go. Raise your arms while breathing in. Well done! Excellent! All right! Wonderful! Fantastic! Amazing! Very nice! Awesome! Yes! Yes! Nicely done! Okay! Fantastic! Great! 30 more! Okay! Keep it up! All right! Perfect! Very nice! Amazing! Yes! Yes! Awesome! Okay! Wonderful! Great! Nicely done! Great! Nice! Excellent! Amazing! Well done! Sharp! Neat! 20 more! Nice! Fantastic! Fantastic! Perfect! Fine work! Amazing! Good job! Excellent! All right! Challenge yourself! Fantastic! Great! Excellent! You got it! Come on! 10 more! Yes! Yes! Well done! Come on! All right! Fine work! 5! Good job! Good job! 3! Very nice! Great! 1 left! Perfect! You've got this!
Right, no consistency. Totally. How are we gonna get the C920 to me? So I guess the PO box is the thing to investigate next. Yeah, it worked while it was working, and then it wasn't working anymore. And then I was like, I kind of need professional grade broadcast gear to work out this latency issue.
Okay, let's go. This will focus on working your legs. Nice.
Right, I keep on doing that.
Okay.
Moon, the user Moon was here earlier and made fun of my
Fine work.
floppy arms. So I'm reformed. I now hold my arms straight.
Good job. That battle was epic.
She shamed me in my floppy arms. Level 90. Is there a maximum level in this? Do we know? Yeah, so the speedrunning communities are so funny. Because it's like, yeah, play the game your own way. Follow your own path. Break the game. Do things that the game never intended you to do. Find new ways to ever push the boundaries, but only according to the rules.
Yay!
You're kind of curious? What are you curious about? Oh, it doesn't let you, like, go early. It's funny, like, how much speedrunning attracts people who really love rules. They love the categories. They love sorting things into containers. Exactly. And it's like, somehow, at a certain point, speedrunning communities switched from being about breaking down barriers and finding new ways to play games and started becoming about codified structures, rules, playing any percent version of every single game, creating leaderboards with a bazillion different categories with no runs submitted, and refusing to make categories for people who actually want to run.
Head arm spin.
One of the things that I found so funny about
Rotate the ring con around. Turn.
when Smash Bros. Ultimate came out,
Turn. Turn.
there was already a speedrunning community for it, and people had created literally hundreds of speedrunning categories for the game, with different one for every challenge in the game. Pretty much like a speedrunning category for pretty much anything that could be measured in the game. And to this day, there's still some categories that have no runs in them. So it's like the leaderboard, instead of being for keeping track of the runs that people are doing, the leaderboards are there to let you know which runs you're allowed to do.
Halfway there.
It's just so, to be so antithetical to the whole spirit of trying to get better at something and challenge your peers.
20 more.
Anyways,
Turn. 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 10 more. Turn. 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 5. Turn. 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 Excellent. Ab guard. Keep squeezing. Lucky break.
oh no. Oh. Oh.
Select a skill and attack.
That's weird. It gave us the power to kill it.
Soulful.
It's like it wants us to kill it. It's praying for death.
Okay, let's go. Like you're pulling a bowstring toss. Very nice. Amazing.
So I upped the difficulty
Excellent.
to 30 today, Greg. I'm now playing on maximum intensity.
Great.
Can you tell?
Okay.
Does it look like it?
Great.
Also, how are you today?
Yes. Yes. Sharp. Good job.
I hope you're doing well.
Neat. Perfect.
Do I really feel it?
Nice.
If I had just, can't you have to say whether or not I felt it? I would say I'm really feeling it.
Fantastic.
That's how much.
Okay. Nicely done. Fine work. Neat.
It's very shiny. It's very shiny.
All right. Awesome. Good. Great. Let's pick up the pace. Okay, let's switch sides. Okay, let's move. Be sure your wrists, elbows, and shoulders are all level. Fantastic! Nice! Wonderful!
Shiny and beautiful.
Nice!
Well, you know, you gotta work for it, right?
All right!
You gotta earn it.
Keep it up. Okay!
How much more interested in this live stream would you be? Is it instead of jogging, I just did this.
Great!
If I just bounced in place.
Okay! Keep it up! All right!
To me, the physical activity part is.
Yes!
You swear my Pokeball?
Perfect!
I'm like a Latino. Is Shiny Liam like Latino Liam? Or is Shiny Liam like Liam with a blue wig?
Nicely done! Good job! Excellent! Let's keep going!
We'll get the profile camera happening. You'll get more feet content, I promise.
You got it! Great! Come on! One left! Flawless! You should feel it in your stomach when you breathe out. Keep going. Like the skill. Wow.
I posted a new piano video today. I
Okay, let's go.
uploaded my version of
Back. Great!
When Rivers Flowed on Mars, as composed by
Fine work.
Nancy Teffler.
Nice!
Nancy Telfler.
Well done!
Canadian composer Nancy. Thank you, Nancy, for your
Good
work.
Sharp!
That's a nice piece.
Okay! Amazing! Okay! Fantastic! Very nice! Excellent!
I also got the itch.io page up for the in development Octorok video game.
Fantastic!
There's not much there yet, but it had to be done. Personal channel, yeah.
Great!
I have it divided between music and gaming.
Nice!
So there's like Octorok,
Nicely done!
Liam Gaming, and Liam Music.
All right!
It's just Liam G25 Music.
Okay!
I don't post much there, but
Okay!
it's because most of my music making is done with Octorok these days. It takes up most of my time.
Nice! Wonderful! Yes!
But I'm still working on my piano pieces,
Awesome!
and I think a big part of learning your piano pieces is to play them for people. Show you can do it all in one go. Make performance choices. Certainly for that kind of music. Classical music is very much about performing it. Divulge game details? Yeah, sure. There's not a lot to say right now. But
Drop your hips. Stretch.
it's just an RPG Maker MV thing. But whoops. But I'm doing all the art for it, and me and John of Duo Rock are going to be playing all the music for it, and I'm doing all the sound and everything. And it's just like, as you know, I'm in the game industry, and it's just a way for me to keep working at it, keep my own ideas developing while I'm working on other people's stuff. For me, like, I love doing contract work, and I love getting like jobs from people where they say, "Oh, you know, make
Let's select a skill.
something that sounds like this." But at the same time, you know, I didn't just purely get into music in order to make music for other people, right? So yeah, that's what it's for. But the whole idea is just to be small, little miniature episodes, things that you can play through in 5-10 minutes, that are just testing out little ideas that I had for some game designs and for things I like to hear in terms of music and techniques I'm working on compositionally. But then still put together in a game that's fun, entertaining,
Okay, let's go. Keep your back straight.
polished, you know, like actually nice for audiences,
Fine work.
and not just like forever in my sketchbook.
All right. Nice. Well done.
I think it's really important to carry through your ideas to completion. Obviously, you don't have enough time in your life to use that with all your ideas, but I think it's really important to pick a few that you are proud of and just see them through for your own sake, for your own development.
Great. Neat. Very nice.
So it's just like a hodgepodge of the skills that I have.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Yes. Yes. Amazing. Great.
So like I've got skills as a composer and as a sound designer. So they've got my songs, my recordings, my performances, my sound design. So that's in there. I'm a photographer, a bad one, but I do take photos and I like doing it. So the game has photography in it for art assets.
Excellent.
I literally like drawing and doing pixel art. So that's in there.
Excellent.
So I can use those ideas. I'm not much of a writer, but all the dialogue in the game so far has been
Okay.
between me and John. So it's just nice to write
Nice.
funny little conversations like John and I actually have as part of the game.
Fine work. Good job. Fantastic. Neat. Excellent.
And we're going to be releasing them for free.
Okay. Great. Increase your pace. Great. You got it. All right. Great. Nice. 10 more. Very nice. Excellent. Fantastic.
Yeah, Drifters on the Death Star? Totally.
Come on. Yes! Yes! 5. Good job. Come on. 3. Okay. Okay. 1 left. Okay. Perfect. With your
Okay.
legs bent slightly, squeeze.
Yeah, one day if we end up releasing something big,
Lucky break.
or if the number of episodes pile up
Select the skill.
so that there's a good amount of content there, I might reconfigure things and take down the episodes and release it again as like a standalone game. But for now, it's more of like a promo. Helps experiment, help work on my ideas. Can't remember if there's Clerks 3 in development. I don't know. It's probably in some stage of development ever since it came out, right? Or ever since 2 came out.
Let's go. Keep your hips still as you twist your body. Fantastic. Amazing. Yes. Yes. Nicely done. Well done. Perfect. All right. Sharp. Very nice. Wonderful. Well done. Amazing. Okay, 30 more.
30 more.
All right. Nice. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Keep it up. Very nice. Awesome. Well done. Sharp.
Does anybody know if there's a maximum level in this game?
Yes.
Or do you just keep going?
Great. Perfect. Fine work. Nicely done. Neat. 20 more.
20 more.
Great. Fantastic. Nice. Amazing. Excellent. Wonderful. Okay. Excellent. Good job. Let's keep going. Neat. Fine work. Neat. Great. Keep it up. 10 more. Yes. Yes. Well done. Okay. Neat. Come on. 5. Excellent. Nice. 3. Very nice. Okay. 1 left. Right on. And guard.
Avguard, indeed. Yeah, so I'm excited about it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. The other thing is like, I'm going back to school for programming, right? And I believe more than anything else that
You got this.
the way you really develop, improve your knowledge is through projects. It's through using what you learned. And it's one thing to just like learn from a book and go to school and pass some tests and whatever. But it's another thing to like yeah, that's the plan. I just have to call the registrar tomorrow to answer some final questions, and then I'm officially 100% putting my bid in, so to speak. It's a college diploma program,
Okay, let's go. Focus on your
and I have a degree from U of T, so I'm not worried about getting in, being accepted.
fantastic.
And I know they have space, so I just have a few more questions I need answered
Fantastic. Perfect.
to be 100% sure.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I feel like, especially when it comes to skills like game design or whatever, making a finished project,
Excellent.
you can read
Well done.
all the books in the world, and you can take all the classes, and you can
Very nice.
read Kotaku and watch YouTube videos from the Game Maker's Toolkit or whatever. But at the end of the day,
Neat.
if you don't have a finished game to show somebody, even if it sucks, I'm not talking about even a good finished game, right? But even if you don't have a finished game,
Nice.
something somebody can turn on and play,
Fine work. Amazing.
then it's all just talk.
Great. Sharp.
Just so much hot air.
Well done. Great. Let's pick up the pace. Yes. Yes. Good. Good. Nice. Yes. Yes. Fantastic. Great. Good job. One left.
I know the theorists are important,
Sides.
and I know the people who make the tools are important. The people who develop the systems
Okay, let's move.
and maintain the infrastructure
We're working those upper arms.
are really important too,
Great.
but that's not what I want to do.
Excellent.
I want to make stuff. Sure would be neat to give it hybrid use off.
Nicely
Hopefully one day. We will see what I can do.
Awesome. All right.
I intend to make it happen. Check back in a few years.
Neat. Amazing. Good job. Wonderful. Fantastic. Very nice.
I got a long road ahead of me, but I'm dedicated. We're going to do this.
Nice. Amazing.
We're going to get the skills we need.
Okay.
We're going to do the book work and the portfolio work to prove
Fine work.
I'm the guy for the job.
Okay.
I'm going to be polite but insistent.
Nice. Excellent. Well done. Yes. Challenge yourself. Fantastic. Well done. You made it. Awesome.
Okay, I did make it. Oh man, we got enough for the upgraded front press. That's great news. That's great news. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. The Starlink was made here in Toronto by Ubisoft. The Toronto studio is the one that made the fly around spaceship game. People joke as being the best Star Fox game since Star Fox 64. Upgraded front press. 320. Yeah, baby. Yeah, boy. Don't find max level on Google onto Google's. Well, we'll get a sense soon whether or not you can cross the level 100 threshold. I'm only 9 levels away from that. This is Fortnite mode. All right, this has been a dramatic stream. We learned that Ubisoft playtesters get $200 gift cards. I signed up. I keep on signing up for like everything that comes up.
Ready?
You know what I mean? Every time I get an email saying, "Oh, we're doing a playtest," or "We're doing a
Great effort.
focus test," or whatever. I sign up for everything
Great.
just to show my enthusiasm, right? But
Focus on your chest. Not just your
I've never gotten called for anything yet, so
awesome work. Good.
just have to remain vigilant.
Keep it up. Awesome. Outstanding. Outstanding. Bravo. Amazing. Superb. Wow.
The price of silence. S rank. Cool, why not? To shut you up. To make sure you don't break the NDA. Is it $200 gift cards to the to the Ubisoft store, or is it like 200 legit clams? 200 Canadian dollars. Now we're good. Ah. Well, this was a dramatic stream. I did some speedrunning. I learned lessons about the speedrunning community. I finally reached level 30 intensity in this fine video game. Oh, okay. Something you can like, yeah. Something you wouldn't be sad to get. The experience makes you wiser. I feel that way. Totally. That's a great way of thinking about it. That's a great way of thinking about it, Kanchi. I do not disagree whatsoever. Nice. Jogging is now easier. Maybe that'll help a speed run. Well, I think the thing to do here is to go to bang. Right, yeah. Do you do the playtest for that kind of stuff often, Greg? Are you like on their list? Let's do one more run. Let's do one more run just to send this thing out on a good note. Focus on the positive, not get down about speedrunning world. Okay, so set a marker here. All right, so we got to show calibration. You know somebody did it in the past? That's cool. Let's double check the rules here real quick, just to make sure I'm doing everything. It must show calibration in the video. It doesn't say what the calibration is, specifically if it's both. But
Hold the ring con in both hands while facing forward.
We'll do both.
Press in hard
Just to be sure.
on the ring con.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the true spirit of it is just to not worry about
Forward.
what
Hold the
other
ring con in
people
both hands.
think are the correct ways to speedrun a
Pull
game.
outward hard on
But
the ring con.
set your own boundaries, set your own goals,
Okay.
play it the way you want to, and when you break the boundaries, when you do what people previously think couldn't be done, then they'll come around. You know what I mean? You can't start by looking for approval.
Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Lightly jog in place, staying aware of your surroundings. Okay. Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Quickly jog in place. Okay.
Okay. Calibrated. Okay, so run starts as soon as I get moving. Everybody ready? Have a fun one. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's do this.
All right, let's go.
Oops.
Yay!
All right. Level 1 done. No! That wasn't supposed to be there. Oh no. Womb it, indeed. Womb it. All right. From the top. From the top. No stretching today. No stretching today. We got to get in there, make this happen. No stretching. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, I got to do the recalibration thing. What a pain. What a pain. Boom, 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 difficulty level 30. Settings. Rincon calibration. Who's Cecile? That's a good question.
Hold the Rincon in both hands while facing forward. Press in hard.
She's doing good.
Okay.
I see you're not curious about my other account, me IRL.
Pull outward hard on the Rincon. Okay.
Alrighty. So calibrated. The exciting sequel to the fighting game. So calibrated. And leg strap thing. I don't know if I have to do it. I hope this is not the thing, but whatever.
Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight.
Got to make sure I'm not jog cheating while other people are hopping on the spot. Sorry, not even hopping, bouncing.
Okay. Spread your feet slightly and stand up straight. Quickly jog in place.
I mean, I guess how do you cheat at jogging when other people are bouncing?
Okay.
Is it possible to cheat when other people are just bouncing? All right, everybody. This is the real one. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, time to run.
Bump, bump, bump.
You got it! Drop your hips. Victory!
Oh no.
Select a skill and attack.
Okay. Okay.
Backstress.
I'm not paying attention, I guess. I'm tired. We'll have to squat them to death. No, I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay, let's do cool down. Call it for the day. Yeah, it's like 8:30. 8:30 my time. Excuse me.
Let's begin our static stretching. You won't need the ring con. Be mindful of your body and stretch within the range of your ability.
I squatted so many things to death
Stretch your
today.
left arm to the side and hold it with your right arm. Pull in your arm and stretch the muscles of your left shoulder. Now do the same on the opposite side.
I hope everybody has a good evening.
Be careful not to rotate your waist as well.
210. So the max is probably level 1000. I can't imagine it going above that.
Bring yourself back slowly. Put your hands on your lower back as if supporting it.
Maybe it
Gently
goes to
tilt
level.
your upper body backward, but don't lean back more than is comfortable. Holding your lower back with your palms will stabilize it. Bring yourself back slowly.
Oh, it's not like it's gonna go to level
Spread your feet, raise
420
both
and
hands,
just stop,
pull
right?
to your left wrist. While pulling on your wrist, tilt to the right and stretch your side. Return to your original position, switch hands, and bend the other way. Stretch slowly. Don't overdo it. Bring yourself back slowly. Bring your feet together and loosen up. Bend your body forward to stretch your lower back and the backs of your thighs. Hold it like that for a little longer. Bend your knees slightly and raise your body bit by bit from your lower back until you're upright. Bend your left knee and bring your ankle up behind you. Pull your knee backward and stretch the front of your thigh. Now do the same on the opposite side. You can use a wall or chair for balance if you need to.
Try to think of ways to increase the amount of exercise in your daily life.
Bring yourself back slowly, and your stretching is complete. Good job.
Anytime. No, we're good. Keep them charged, indeed. I think I didn't do that last time. Okay, everybody, this has been fun. It's getting late here, so I'm gonna leave you without too much of a post-exercise chat today. I hope that's okay. But yeah, as usual, if you're not following the channel yet, take an opportunity to hit that follow button now. Thanks so much for joining me on the beginning of my speed running journey in Ring Fit, and I'll be back on Wednesday. See you then.